Oh no. I'm getting that error. Alright, this is fifth period on Monday. This is scheduled for 10:50 and I hit start before then, so I don't know if that matters. If the start time is just a suggestion or if it actually locks in to anything that matters. I'm also getting a little error on the upload not being enough, but I can't really do much about that, so hopefully the audio is good at least. I'm going to start and we'll make this quick. So for this class, we're doing our project for the quarter on a Pong game. I gave you guys some videos of a guy going through how to make a Pong game. The first couple steps, you make walls to bounce off of, so you just have one player and then one ball bouncing off the wall instead of two like in the original Pong. And the plan is we're all going to do that. So we're all going to make the paddle and the ball bouncing off the walls. And then you can branch off and do your own thing. So this is a project where we all follow the same steps until the last step where you can remove the walls and add another paddle or add another ball or add other objects, turn the board in a different direction or whatever. So last time I posted an assignment that says screen and border because that's kind of the most important part. Often, hey, I got another one turned in that somebody didn't mark done, but one of the key things is just making sure that works. So here's one that I was doing, and I'll hit run again. When you do this, it does take a minute. It's not instant like when you're doing just text in the console. It takes a minute to get fired up. And you'll see little errors down here, but they're not like crucial. When you look these up, a lot of them are sound files and stuff that is not necessary. Maybe their library has changed and it's looking for something that has a different name now, or maybe it has to do with the fact that we're using it online instead of actually installed in a computer. We'll figure it out. I think it would be nice to get past this. And for example, maybe at the end we can publish these as like just regular .exe files that you can run without using this little preview window, or maybe there's a way to publish them on a sort of standalone web page. We'll have to figure that out. But as for now, it does just display in that little preview window. If I can get mine to work like it was working a second ago. But there we are. Okay, so I made one that does the walls, and I didn't use the exact numbers in the video because if you try 1200 by 600, which is how he sets it, it's either just too much in absolute terms or it's too wide of a ratio because I couldn't see the left wall. So 800 by 600 works, so it might actually be like literally that much pixel space, or it might just be the 4 by 3 is what matters. So like if you did 12 by 9, maybe that would work. Although 900 is kind of ugly if you were trying to divide it by 4 or divide it by 5 or something, you know. 600 is better for that. So if you go through those steps shown in that video, you will do this stuff. You'll set the variables and the colors. And the nice thing about doing it up here is that you can change them anytime and it will automatically change everything instead of, you know, doing each one each time, trying to control F or whatever. And it also makes more sense when you're reading these. If it says width, then you know, oh, that's the width. Whereas if it said like 800, then I wouldn't intuitively read that as well. So it draws a rectangle for the top, it draws one for the side, it draws one for the bottom, and then I have one other part, which is a ball. So if you watch the next video, he'll show the ball thing, which is a class, just like we did in our first quarter stuff. You might have had a class for a card or a player or a dice or something like that. This one has a position with X and Y, and then it has a function to show, which uses the draw, just like the draw rectangle, except it's draw a circle. So instead of giving you the corners, it gives you the center and radius, and the radius is just set right here with the hard-coded value. We might change that later and make it change size or make it relative to the screen or something like that. But anyway, this is just one line that makes it happen. So if I hit, if I comment that out and then I run it, who knows if it'll work. This is what you're doing for your first step. And yeah, a couple of you guys have done it. You get the board with 3 walls that are visible. They look like they have the same width and color and all that good stuff. It doesn't have to be white, by the way. You can set the colors of whatever you want, either as a name, so the color class in Pygame has plenty of English words, or you could just put red or green or something, or you can do it with RGB values and set it to, you know, exactly a shade that you're aiming for. That's fine as well. It doesn't have to be the hexadecimal RGB. It's not like you're doing like 99FF or whatever. You can just put any number. I think it's up to 256 on the 3 portions. So if you are here, that's great. The next step is to do the other objects. I put paddle first when I put them in the list of assignments, but actually the guy makes the ball first in the video. Either way is fine, of course. The paddle is easier because it's a rectangle, and so it follows the same function as the one we used before, but the ball is not too bad either. Then we'll do the other stuff like moving the paddle, which you can tie to the mouse. You see there's a cursor in the Pygame window already, and so you can tie the paddle to that, or you can use the keys. I think it's probably just as easy either way. And then the last part, which is of course the most important part, is the ball bouncing. You have to give it the right angle and everything when it hits the walls. If you go on Replit and you look at their Pygame example, they use a DVD icon bouncing around like it does on a DVD menu when you leave it for too long, and that is using the same physics, I guess you would say. You have to make it detect when it hits the sides or hits the paddle, and then you have to make it change direction, basically the opposite. You know, if it was going a certain X and Y this way, then it goes a certain X and Y, just throwing a negative on them. So that's the plan. I don't want to make this video very long, so I'm pretty much going to stop it here, especially with this. Oh, now it's on excellent connection. And the only other thing I'm going to show you is I just made playlists in my YouTube so that they're all in one place. Oh, I didn't mean to hit play all, I meant to like view all. So if you miss one or you want to go back to one, you can go to the playlist for the class, and then it's all there. This one's actually from last quarter, but mostly it'll be from today, next week, week after, and so on. I'm planning to do one per week, but maybe in the third quarter we'll change that and do more or less, but they'll all be here. And let me know how it works, because I might change like the way we title them. It might be nicer to give it a title that says the date or says what order or something like that, although they should be sorted already. So if you go to Classroom now, you'll see here's a playlist. You click on it, you see the stuff, and I believe that'll be helpful. It's certainly helpful for me when I'm putting them on there, but it should be helpful for you guys too. That's the plan. I'm going to add another assignment on Classroom that says, you know, the next step, but they're all known. It's not like a surprise new direction or anything. You make the screen with the walls, you make the objects, then you get into the movement and collision, and finally, probably not this week, another time, you'll start to add your own stuff of like a second paddle for a second player, or a second paddle for a computer player, or objects in the middle that you have to bounce around, or like, you know, power-ups, whatever you can imagine. So that's the plan. Let's get going. All right, that was 11 minutes. That's not